All right. What's up, Internet? LinkedIn, YouTube. We are live for another live recording of the Managing Partners podcast. I have a special guest today coming in from California. This is Marta. Marta, thanks so much for joining us. Can't wait to hear your story.
Thank you for having me here. Nice to meet you.
Yes. So we got to speak a little bit before the show here. You're coming in from LA?
Yeah, I'm currently based in LA. Our law firm is in LA as well.
Excellent. Well, let's get started. Everyone that's tuning in, of course, if you're live tuning in, please ask questions along the way. We will get to those questions. Marta will do her best to answer those, and we'll get to them as you ask. So please ask questions as you can. So, Marta, let's hear your story. How did you get, for one, coming to the U.S. and how you went from doing that to having your own firm?
Sure. So I am an immigration lawyer. I help people, individuals, and companies deal with their questions in immigration law. And I myself is an immigrant as well. I came to the U.S. as a student initially. I came to the U.S. to study law. And then after graduation, the first job I got was from also a full service immigration firm. That was very good experience, and I really enjoyed the work there. And over the time, I somehow just built more connections, and eventually I decided to lend my own practice. And when it started, it was me and one other person. That was back in 2015. And then it took off and then actually grew pretty well. It's something I wouldn't have imagined back in 2015. So right now we have 6 lawyers and also I think 9 staff. Very amazing team.
Excellent.
And it's really nice to working with these amazing team members and to help the others with their questions in immigration law. I really love talking about immigration law, anything, in immigration, I would really to discuss with any of you.
Excellent. Really cool story. And yeah, anyone's got any questions, I'm sure she's got lots that she can give you there. So immigrating yourself, going into this, and then working for the firm, and then starting your own firm, which is a huge jump. It's a big commitment to do. And it looks like you've experienced some really good growth as well. So I was able to check out your website. Also, everyone, check out the website. It's down here at the bottom of the screen. I'll put the link in the comments as well. But check out our firm. Nice website. I saw the staff and the attorneys and the staff members that you have there. So looks like you guys are doing a really good thing.
Thank you.
What year? How many years, I guess, have you been in the U.S. personally?
It's almost a decade now. So
oh wow!
Yeah.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. So you did school here,
yeah, I did school
and
here.
then you went right into working with that firm.
That's right. That's right.
How many years were you with the other immigration firm before you went off on your own?
Yeah, I worked at actually 2 other firms. So before I started my own, and I worked there for I think altogether about 3 years. Right.
So you didn't waste much time. You said, "I want to go do this for myself."
It's I don't know. It's like I to be honest, I wasn't like a very kind of like entrepreneur type person when I was working there. It's just. And those 2 are both really good firms. I feel like I learned really a lot, not just about lawyering, but also business-wise. I feel like I learned a lot from the 2 other firms. But when I was working at 2 other firms, I do notice like different partners, they would have different style and different preference. And over those years, I discovered that I also have certain ways I want to do certain things myself. And how about I just try it and put that in reality myself and just see how that turns out.
Yep, that's entrepreneurship right there. You say, you know what, I can do this myself, and I don't want to do it my way. So, and it's worked out well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So actually, within immigration law, there are also very different subcategories. I know in the media, people probably heard a lot about things happening at the border, right, or within those detention centers. Those are really headline kind of cases, but also
Okay.
within immigration law, there are all types of people, struggling with their status. Like, for example, I do notice a lot of like international students, just like myself, they were having a really hard time in the past 4 years, but people aren't really aware of that. But they really need someone who understands their situation. And also some of the startup companies, small companies, medium-sized companies, they are also having a hard time in hiring. And whenever they find the right person, and this person happens to be a foreign national, they would like to do everything they can to keep that talent. But a lot of times they find, wow, I wasn't aware it is so hard to keep a foreign national working for me. So those are the things people might not hear much from the the major media, but it's a lot of struggle for people who are facing those kind of issues in daily life, and those where we can fit and I would like to specialize in. So that's how I built and why I built the current firm. Like, we mostly handle these employment kind of basic cases for like small firms, medium-sized firms, and these young professionals coming to the U.S.
Well, I have some experience with that, and had that challenge in the past. So I had an employee that started as an intern with me in the U.S., and she was a website designer, developer, and she was amazing. And hopefully she's tuned in right now. But she was on a student visa, and she started as an intern with me. Then I hired her full time and everything. But then her student visa ran out, and she was from Malaysia, and she basically had to go back, and trying to figure out a way that I could get her to get back and be full time in one way or another. And it was just expensive and challenging, and didn't really have any kind of. I worked through some of the process, but there was no really, I guess, definitive outcome of what would happen regardless of what we did, and paid a bunch of money and still wouldn't even know. And it was just kind of a challenging time. And I was very small at the time, and so it was a large expense to try to take on. And, so we ended up not being able to get her back or keep her on full time. So I've had that exact experience before with someone that I wanted to keep here and stay on with our team, and wasn't able to do it, and didn't even know what to do.
Yeah, a lot of those issues people only become aware when they personally go through it, and they realize, wow, this is really difficult for the foreign national. Even the person has the right skills and the person has good educational background, it's still very hard.
Yes, and her father was here, who I got to meet and know. Her mother was still back in Malaysia. So she had I don't know if her father had gotten a U.S. citizenship or not, or was in the process. But so yeah, pretty challenging to do, and you would think it would be easier than that with someone that went to college here in the U.S. as well, and graduated, went into the workforce, did everything right, and still just not able to stay.
Exactly.
So. So I can relate 100%. So I need to reach out to her and try to figure out how to reconnect with her and see where she's at these days. It's been a few years, but so that led. One of my questions was kind of what are the challenges your clients face, and you kind of covered that a little bit. What are some of the mistakes maybe that are made that make it harder for you to do what you do?
I would
Or
say,
are there? I guess.
of course, there's tons of mistakes. I would say mostly are business related. Because when I went to law school or decided to study law, it's more about all these analytical skills that I was focusing on, and it didn't really pay that much attention to all these business side of the operation. But when I decided to start the current firm, actually a lot of the business decisions, they kind of require different type of skill set from that's required of become a good lawyer. So I, including, when it comes to hiring, like how to find the right person for particular like type of position. And it kind of like you have to wear a lot of hats. You're not just a lawyer. You're also an HR marketing director and tons of things. So I guess the initially, especially the expectation was not right. That's the biggest mistake. You can't expect someone who doesn't know the law to do everything right from the start. That requires a lot of training, a good system. So that's something I had to kind of build as I go, and I'm glad it works out okay for now. But there were definitely a lot of mistakes made along the way. So, but it's really interesting because when I was reading another immigration lawyer's like bio. And she is currently a very successful lawyer, like a very successful immigration lawyer who I look up to. And she also mentioned, like at the very beginning, she was really too demanding to some of the staff, and that was not right. So that's something I definitely learned from my personal experience, and I think that's a big lesson for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, that's just part of entrepreneurship, and that's all part of the journey. So you're going to mess up all the time, and it's just how fast you react and readjust and figure things out. So, but yeah, as entrepreneurs too, I think you want to hire that person and say, okay, do this, and expect that they're going to know what you know or be able to do it like you do it. And sometimes that's the case, but other times you got to make sure you have a platform to bringing them up to speed and onboard them. And I'm actually onboarding two people to my sales team, which I've been working with every day this week. And, I just feel unprepared, even though, I think I got everything covered. But it's just I want to make sure they have the best chance they can and get up to speed and onboarded. And, it takes time to get those things in place.
Yeah, that's something I really come to realize in the most recent years. Because initially, and I think it's understandable when you hire someone. Initially, you hire the person to like help you with something, right? And I feel like I was kind of too focused on that thing I want to accomplish, and kind of overlook that, hey, this is a person. This person might have his or her own goals and things he or she wants to achieve. So initially, it may be too focused on my vision, what I want to achieve. But as the team expands, I come to realize, when you have more people on the team, getting the results for client, of course, that's top priority. But how to get others' needs met, including our own team members' needs met, right? That's also something very important. So that's where we're putting a lot of efforts on, like to help each team member developing professionally, including, for example, some of the paralegals. We are launching a law office study program so that they can also learn from our lawyers to learn a lot of the subject matter in the laws, and even maybe if they pass certain exams, they can when they become a lawyer themselves. So those are the things we're working on right now.
That's great. You hire them to say, hey, I need you to do this thing, but there needs to be, and you're paying them to do that. But if you want the results and them to be happy and to stay, Yeah, absolutely. You have to have both goals in mind. What are you trying to accomplish? What are we trying to accomplish? How do we get there together?
Exactly.
And align those things. So very important. That's something we're always trying to work on as well.
Right.
But that's really cool that you're doing that. And it takes time. You don't start a company and then everything you did, perfect roadmap on the way in. So it's a lot, and it gets better every year. You're going, oh, there's some new thing that I need to do or implement and get better. Constantly getting better. So I think that's our focus anyway. But it's always improving and getting better, not staying stagnant, and trying to improve. And if you're growing, that helps, right? If you're not growing, then it's harder to take care of those goals your employees have and be able to, yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's a very, it's not like statement. Like it's not like something like, oh, okay, here's the goal and then set into the stone, right? It's like it's an ever changing thing, and it has a lot to do with everybody in the team, and I feel like it's always helpful to also have the input from other people, including like the current law office study program that's actually brought up by one of the members, and the one other lawyer is currently leading the program. So so I really love to see the current dynamic within the team, and a lot of times I feel like that's just as enjoyable to see the growth of the team members, just as to see the good results on cases.
Yeah, definitely want to see your team grow, get more responsibility. If they want to become a lawyer, having a path for that is great, and make sure there's a fit. If the position they're in, that's if they didn't really want to do that, or if that's not the right fit for them, finding out what they want to do. And sometimes that might not be a position at your firm. It might be saying, hey, maybe let's help you get to another place if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Instead of them just working there and dealing with it every day.
That's 100% right. Yeah, we have some former coworkers who are still stay in touch, and some of them decided to go to law school. Like they initially joined as a paralegal, but they found that they are very interested in law. They decided to go to law school. Some others, they decided to explore some other opportunities, including some in-house positions, to keep better like balance between work and life. I totally respect those, and I feel like very glad that at least I hope they got some good experience from the firm. Wherever they go, I hope at least the experience from the current firm is a good experience in their life, and I would be happy about it.
Yeah, you can't hold people back, and they're going to kind of do what they need to do, and that's going to change. That might change next year. They might be all in on something and then discover that that's not. They found something else that they want to pursue. So you just kind of got to go with that, and hate losing good people for sure, but it's whatever's best for them. Different topic. How do you go about getting clients? So you have a website and all those things, and I'm sure you're well known in the community there. But what have you done to gain clients? Whether it could be referrals or social media or advertising, what's worked well for you guys?
I would say referral still is the biggest source of our cases, because this is something quite personal. So a lot of people would rely on the words of mouth, and they only trust people referred by someone close to them who already have a case approved. So I would say our clients are the biggest marketing engine for the firm. But of course, like these days, these like social media, including like YouTube. So I do sometimes some YouTube videos. It could be just a minute, like maybe 5 minutes introduction to a certain topic. and
Nice.
people would like it and would reach out. Sometimes I'm really amazed, like how someone really far away, like in another state or even overseas, would just reach out to us. Hey, I watched your video or read a blog article of yours. That also happens quite often. So I would say biggest is still client referral, and then those who watch our videos or read our articles.
That's excellent. Well, kudos on that. That's and yeah, it's surprising sometimes when you read an article or you do a video, who might tune in, and you're helping them with that video, and they build some trust in you.
That's
so
right.
they decide that, hey, I don't have any other referral, so I'm going to reach out to this firm because at least I feel comfortable. They've already given me some good insight. So
yeah,
and that's really the basis for SEO too. Google searching, if your firm comes up to answer a question, they searched. A video might come up, an article, and then you became a resource, and then they get exposed to your brand, and then eventually they may be becoming a customer. So
yeah, that's right. I feel like this happens quite often, especially among the millennials or like the Z generation, especially. I think I shouldn't be too surprised because I do that myself, right? We use Yelp to look for the good restaurants nearby. Sometimes I also search online to find certain vendors. So I guess, okay, it's not too surprising people use the same methods to find lawyers as well.
Yeah, I think referral in your type of practice makes 100% sense. That would be a big part of it. I think it's when someone doesn't have a referral, that's when they go to searching and trying to find out some answers, and that's where you can be there or not. And if you're invested a little bit in some digital marketing and other methods, then you at least have an opportunity to be in front of them to help those people out.
Right.
And then, of course, having a nice website and all that stuff like you guys have. If they do have a referral, they might go still look at your firm, your website, get to know who you are before they make that phone call. So this is a validation. It's good to have too. So
that's right. Yeah.
So what is last question for me? Really, what's the big plans for you? Personally, I guess, and with the firm, where are you guys trying to go next 5 years, 10 years?
Wow, man, that's a really difficult question.
I want a step-by-step, month-by-month plan. Just kidding.
Yeah, because if it comes to the plan, I feel like nothing taking place right now is something I planned like years ago. So
usually the case.
Instead of like planning, like maybe for like a very concrete plan for 5 years, I would usually just have like a vision for what we want to achieve and focus on some of the smaller maybe milestones for the next months or maybe a year also, and see how that goes. So I think one question that a lot of the small firms deal with is, do you want to tap into other practice areas, or do you want to stay in the current area, right? Because as attorneys, we use our time to serve the people, right? And our time is limited. Everyone has only 24 hours a day. So if you expand the areas, then you would have less time in each area. So, but you might have more business opportunities. So that's a really a hard judgment call. I have so far been quite determined to specialize in immigration law. I do feel like this is a very complex area, just as a lot of practice areas. And I feel like it takes time to digest all these like case laws or new policies. So we decide to specialize in the areas. Over the time, we decide to develop the expertise more by focusing on certain complex issues in the area, and hopefully we can establish ourselves, become a known expert in this particular area. And also one other thing is to hopefully to automate a lot of our process. One is to lower the cost for the clients, because everything's becoming more and more expensive, as you see. But we really don't want to shift this cost to the client. But at the same time, everything has to make sense business-wise. So we're putting a lot of effort into automation, including the intake process and also the overall case management. So so I hope over the time we can have a team of experts, team of experts in immigration law, and we will have a very seamless process for the clients to deal with.
I love it. That's a perfect answer. So, and I think that's a good move, that you're niched, if you will, you're specialized. And there's a lot of firms, most firms start to add on different practice areas, and they have a whole menu of, they do everything. And it's really difficult to look like an expert or to say you specialize. And then it's hard to do everything else too. So it's hard to market and show up as that specialist. And my company, we used to kind of work with lots of companies. We now only work with law firms, so we niche in marketing for law firms, and it makes things so much easier to. And then when I hire someone, they need to be an expert in legal marketing versus just for anybody. So, but it allows your team to start to become experts at what they do, and I think that's a good way to go. And you can always add more lawyers and get more clients, but still specialize and be experts in that. So kudos to that. I think that's the best plan for you.
Thank you. But a lot of times it's hard. It's always hard to say no to clients, especially when client asks you, "Can you help us with this matter?" Right? And they already have the trust. They just want you to take care of everything they encounter, and it's quite hard to say no to them. But I would love to work with other managing partners at your channel, whoever specializes in other fields. We would love to refer out clients to other experts in their practice areas.
Excellent. Yes. So anyone watching now or in the future, if you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube or our website, please connect with Marta. Please reach out to her. This is her website at the bottom. I'll put it in the comments as well. And she's going the right places, and I'm sure she can have a good conversation with anyone also probably trying to start their own firm, starting to build those referral sources. So reach out to her. If you want to check out other episodes like this, of course, go to raylaw.com/podcast. Again, we specialize in digital marketing for law firms. So if anyone listening needs any assistance with that, please reach out. Check us out at raylaw.com. Marta, we did have a comment come in from Sean Marin, who I know. He said, "Great stuff. Keep it up." I assume he's talking about you, not me.
I would say both. Thank you, Sean.
Sean, thank you so much. But yeah, Marta, I love your story. I think what you're doing is awesome. Keep it up for sure. And, look forward to checking in with you in the future to see where you're at. So, thanks for sharing your story here today. And anything else you want to share? Anyone else? Is there a better way to connect with you too?
Sure. We have our website, the one Kevin just put on the screen. Yes. So you would see a virtual assistant popping up. If you have any question, feel free to leave it in the chat box, and we will get in touch with you. And thank you very much, Kevin, for having me here. It's really a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to watching a lot of other managing partner stories on your channel.
Again, thank you so much. Happy Friday, everyone. Marta, stay on just for a second. We'll end this, and then we'll chat for a few minutes after this. But everyone have a great day, great Friday, and tune in next time for the Managing Partners Podcast.